Before she joined the academy, Anakin's friend Tahiri lived with a strange and dangerous tribe. She knows nothing of her real parents, or how she came to live with the treacherous Tusken Raiders. Tahiri knew the day would come when she'd learn everything about her past. And that day has come. But first, Tahiri must prove she is worthy, and that means she must complete a deadly task that will test her skills as a warrior and as a Jedi Knight. With Anakin by her side, she will have to use the Force like never before. If Tahiri succeeds, she will learn how her parents lived and died. But if she fails, she and Anakin may have to pay the ultimate price.
Hello and welcome to Padawan Library, the Star Wars Junior Novel Podcast. I'm Levi Paratic. With me is Tim May.
Hey, everybody.
And, of course, joining us for a third week in a row, Mel Lyon.
Hey, everybody.
This week, younglings, we are discussing promises. How do you make them? How do you keep them? What do you do with them? Promises. And we were discussing, of course, the 1963 movie, Promises, Promises, starring Jayne Mansfield. And we were also discussing Junior Jedi Knights number 3, Promises. Or, yeah, it's just Promises.
Promises.
By Nancy Richardson.
That'd be very funny. It was called Promises, Promises.
Promises.
This is the show that we promised last week.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
And we promise we will deliver a podcast.
All right.
We promise this is a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Promise. It doesn't seem like it, but we promise.
I wanted to say something that we, the last several weeks we've been doing these movie reviews up top, and sometimes they've been longer than the book review. Sometimes they've, most of the time they're minimum half-hour affairs. Mm-hmm. If I don't let this introductory babble go on too long, I think this one's going to be fairly short. I think
it is.
So let's just dive in. Promises, promises. 2 exclamation points on each. 1 exclamation point on each of those promises.
They sure are. Directed by King Donovan.
His only film. It's a sex comedy from 1963. Starring Jayne Mansfield, obviously a big sex symbol of the era, and she, and it's notable because it's the first sound era Hollywood film to feature nudity.
Yes.
From a major star. I've gotten, it's a little vague, like, I feel like there might be some... Well, depends on what you consider a Hollywood movie.
According to Wikipedia.
Okay, well, yeah. So this came out at a time where studios were kind of lightening on the Hays codes, which of course defined like what was obscene or not in the studio system. And this is the first mainstream movie to feature nudity. In 1963, since I think I saw a number somewhere that I couldn't confirm was the previous was 1934 for the last nudity in a U.S. movie.
See, I watch lots of pre-code movies, and the code's instituted at, what, 33 or 34?
Yeah.
It's definitely, I think it's around 34. And even those movies, there's not like what we would call nudity now. Like there is definitely equal to the nudity in this movie in some ways, just like with tassels or something like that on.
Yeah.
But like I would say it's and it's obviously extremely tame. It's essentially two shots that they repeat over and over again throughout the movie.
Yes,
over and
yeah.
Actually, they talk about this in on the Wikipedia. Okay, they say how long. So, Mansfield appears undressed in 3 scenes. These scenes are repeated a few times in dream sequences. The first and longest is 59 seconds in a scene where she sings in a bathtub, "I'm in love." And then the second is when she towels off, which is 4 seconds, which is repeated 4 times throughout the movie. And then the
bed
third
one is the one where she's in bed and waking up or whatever is
Yeah.
repeated
6 seconds
like
long.
5,000 times.
Yeah. Just.
All right, so that's honestly, I don't know if we need to talk about much else. It's the only notable thing about this movie historically. It's a sex comedy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it's a guy, like a nebbishy Hollywood writer.
Who is the writer? Yeah, Tom Noonan.
Yeah.
Tommy Noonan, who is the lead and the producer and the writer of the movie.
Sure. Whatever. He's married to Jane Mansfield. I'm talking about the plot.
You're right.
Yeah.
He's married to Jane Mansfield. She wants to have a kid. He clearly doesn't. But there's also...
Well, there's actually, because there's kind of a thing there, too, that I don't actually have enough historical information to really talk
because
about.
Because they do mention that
he was in military school.
Yeah, there is something
and he had the mums.
Yeah, there's something about military school in there.
Yeah.
But he also thinks...
Yeah, well, that's like a thing. The mums could make you infertile. So that's all that is. So it eventually is revealed that he was infertile, but... Initially, it seems as though he just doesn't want...
Or is he?
Well, you also forgot to mention that they are on a month-long cruise.
They shot this on a cruise ship, too, because they thanked the cruise ship and the captain
Wow.
in the credits, which makes it like a precursor to that Steven Soderbergh movie that came out last year with Meryl Streep on...
you're right.
There we go. Another Mamma Mia connection to this film.
I'll compare Steven Soderbergh to the Mamma Mia movies. Like I know we praise them, but that's disrespectful to Mr. Soderbergh, I would say.
But there's another couple who they're also there's a doctor.
They're friends, though.
Yeah, there's a doctor, by the way.
Yeah,
the doctor is treating.
Yeah,
he's kind of the narrator.
He's
of the
treating.
film.
Yeah, he is. He's treating the one guy's infertility with a placebo that he has a little power of suggestion.
He's
thing
running
going
experiments on his patients without,
and
there's like
this is a cruise ship doctor.
Yeah, a cruise ship doctor that he's never met before, and. So basically, he wants to. And then they have a couple. They have friends who are a couple. Also, is an actor / bodybuilder. So.
Yes.
Who is actually Jane Mansfield's husband at the time.
So I think her second husband, right?
Yeah, second.
Yeah.
Of
so Mariska Hargitay's father.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
I
knew that somehow.
Detective Olivia Benson.
She's also one of Mark Green's many love interests in I think season 4 of ER. So there you go.
Wow,
interesting.
Wow.
Mark Green's
That'd
Anthony
be a
Edwards,
great crossover.
But,
ER, SVU.
No, SVU doesn't deserve ER, honestly. ER's too good. Maybe the original Law and Order.
It should somehow all be part of the St. Elsewhere's universe.
It might be. I don't even know. But I think we talked about it a while ago. But anyway, so you got this guy, this bodybuilder / actor. He's married to a kind of a seemingly slightly, at least a more mature woman. I don't think she's necessarily much older than Jane Mansfield. But
Marie McDowell, and this is her last movie.
She looked so familiar to me, but then it's like looking at her filmography, like I haven't seen any of these movies.
There's only one actively good scene in the movie, which is the scene when the Nebuchadnezzar writer and the other wife, there had been a planned double date, dinner, but both Jane Mansfield and the bodybuilder are sick. So they go to tell each other that they can't come to dinner, and they wind up going to dinner themselves, and they walk around the cruise ship. And they have an actual kind of nice, easy chemistry.
Yeah, it's cute.
It's a nice scene, and I'm just like, just do this. This is but then there's all the antics and the
so many antics.
And also I didn't even really understand the placebo thing. What was the idea there?
Okay, the placebo.
I guess
how does the placebo work? Because he was going to slip her the placebo. And how would it work for her when she doesn't know that she's taking it? And the whole idea of a placebo is that they think that there's going to be effects, and they impose the effects on themselves.
Yeah.
Well, it's trying to be a situational thing, because Tommy Noonan, the lead, he is told that this is a fertility pill.
Right.
And you take it with a heavy dose of alcohol, and you do your business, and then you wake up and there's an amnesia effect. Amnesia effect, which later he hits his head. The other wife takes him to the infirmary. She has already had some drinks. They both fall asleep in the infirmary. They wake up. He's like, "Oh no, I don't remember what we did last night."
And vice versa with Jane Mansfield and the bodybuilder.
Right.
Listen, I'm not going to lie. I fell asleep with about a half hour left of this movie to go. I don't remember how it all really wraps up. I was kind of...
well, he ends up... They both... Okay, both women who thought they couldn't get pregnant...
They both end up pregnant.
They both end up pregnant with their husbands, and it's through the power of suggestion that it all happens.
But isn't it unclear at the end whether it's their husband or the other guy?
No.
They pretty much clear it up
because they never actually sleep with each other. There's never actually
sure.
Now, there was one actor in this movie who played the hairdresser. Did you meet the hairdresser before you fell asleep?
Yes. The hairdresser was, what was their name?
Babette.
Babette.
Pretty fun character.
Yes, fun character.
I would say that's, some historical value there.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yes, and the character, let me see, who played Babette? Babette, who is played by T.C. Jones. T.C. Jones apparently was a female impersonator, a drag queen, you could say, and who specialized in doing a Katharine Hepburn impersonation, so...
Which is the first one I think that he does, right?
Yeah. There's a moment. Yeah, you saw the impression scene.
I saw the wig scene where he's putting on the different wigs and the.
Yeah.
No, that was certainly surprising. I don't get the idea. This was billed to me when I looked at the Wikipedia page as a Hollywood movie. It feels like
it's so low
an
budget.
independent film that a studio might have agreed to distribute. Because it was also partially produced by Playboy, I think.
Well, here's
they had a big tie-in.
Here's the big
through
tie-in.
the magazine.
Okay,
yeah.
Hugh Hefner.
Because he was charged for obscenity. This is the only time he ever was, right? It was for this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because he basically what happened was when they filmed the nude scenes, he sent a photographer to the set. The photographer snapped some photos, and then he published them in Playboy. In the full nude photos, and then the issue came out, and then in Chicago he was arrested for obscenity, and the trial was later dropped. It
wasn't. No, I think he actually got cleared. It was like a 7-5 decision or something.
Okay, he represented himself.
Well, I'm sure
there was something I read where he was but anyway.
Yeah, I mean it is weird that this would be the thing, because this is several years after Playboy started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
of all things.
And I saw that the movie was banned in Cleveland briefly.
Yes, it was banned in Cleveland.
Just because? Why Cleveland specifically?
Well, just Cleveland theater owners refuse to show it. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Cleveland, of all places, has the moral high ground in 1963.
This movie apparently had a $400,000 budget. I cannot find out anything about the box office. So
$400,000 even then, very low.
That seems like a lot for then.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think it's very... I don't know. It's a very slight movie. I didn't hate watching it or anything, but it was just
It's one of those things where it's like, you think, like, oh, well, obviously, like, all old movies are, like, good movies, and then it's like, no, not at all. Like, they're, just because it's, like, in black and white and, like, whatever, like, doesn't mean it's gonna be
I mean, it's of some...
or even, like... on par with, like, a bad movie of today.
It's of some historical interest, not just because of the nudity thing, but I do think it's clearly, like, a template for kind of what sex comedies became.
Yeah.
And, you know, I like some sex comedies, but, you know, not necessarily, like, my top genre. This
is a movie that's sold entirely on Jane's nudity. Like, every poster...
That's why they had to repeat the, like, 2 shots over and over.
Yeah, just over and over.
Right, but, like, they've repeated it over and over again, and, like, that was on all the posters.
Right, yeah.
And if you were going to this movie, like, you knew what you were getting, and you got what you paid for.
Again and again and again.
But you didn't pay for a story, so, you know, they know that. Like, they don't care.
I feel like this is, like, it's disappointing in the sex aspect, and it's disappointing in the comedy aspect. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't even think in 1963 anybody's going to this. And
a lot of people did.
Well, it was a big hit, but it was not, like, acclaimed.
I
think it's you know, and I like, you know, I enjoy some movies akin to this. Like, there's a movie I really like from, like, 1980 that I feel like should get more love, called The Beach Girls. Have you remember this movie?
No, I have not.
Yeah, I guess you probably didn't watch this one with us. But anyway, a very fun movie. That's a delightful, like, movie of a similar vein, and, like, you know, Pinball Summer. I like some of this kind of crap from, like, the late 70s, early 80s, you know, which is the kind of the peak of this genre. But, you know, this one, you know. I also just think that the main nebbishy, like, it's definitely, like, a proto much shittier Woody Allen thing, and, like, it's kind of like
that classic, like, beta male, like,
but I don't you know, it's kind of like, you know, Love and Death or Sleeper, that vibe, except with none of the craft.
No charm.
I just and this guy, he's just a very boring character, and there's, like, a weird thing where he's like, they said I'm the most prolific writer in Hollywood, and I was like, I didn't even think, like, do you know what prolific means? Like, like, I don't know. Okay. All right.
There were a lot of moments like that where it's just like, these people are not as smart as they think they are.
Do we have any final thoughts here?
The movie wasn't good, so.
All right. Well, next week,
the nudity's good if you're into nudity.
If you're a huge pervert, you'll love this movie.
I don't think that. And it's not like there's a shortage of nude shots of Jane Mansfield out there. If you're interested. It's like I
don't think I'd watch this movie again.
No, me neither.
No, I think you're good. So yeah, the next week. We are off next week, as we mentioned last week.
For spring break.
Sure. And then the following week we're returning to Adventures in Wild Space, so the next book is called The Heist. Mm-hmm. And we will be watching... I struggled over picking a heist film. I didn't want to have a Michael Mann argument, because I don't know. I feel like you might be, like, a hater. You haven't seen enough Mann to say anything, but I feel like... I don't know. Based on some of our recent biggest arguments, I feel like you might not love Michael Mann, and I
just don't want to put yourself through
that.
I
definitely don't want to do it publicly. So, so I decided to go with a movie I like a lot, but is not as dear to my heart. A very fun heist movie, diamond heist movie from
Hurricane Heist is what you guys should do.
One of the worst movies ever made. I hated that, and I'm so mad that you made me sit there.
What?
So angry. We don't need to get into it on the podcast.
Okay, all right.
The bungee jumping out of the thing
the car.
in the mall or whatever.
The car, truly terrible movie.
The car with the leaky window.
All right. Anyway, we are going to be doing the Hot Rock.
Hurricane Heist.
No?
The Hot
The
Rock.
Hot Rock, directed by Peter.
How does that have to do with the title?
It's a heist movie.
Oh, okay.
And we did Mamma
Sorry.
Mia because it was like nominated for a Golden Globe like 10 years ago.
No, that makes sense to me. But
I mean, okay, well, I don't want to have to watch Heist, the weak David Mamet movie from 2001, like just because the title is Heist. All right, anyway, we're watching The Hot Rock, which is a Peter Yates movie from 1972, written by William Goldman and starring Robert Redford and
nice.
George Segal. It's a fun movie, good 70s vibes. And
love that.
I hope you enjoy it. We'll be watching that in 2 weeks. So if you guys want to watch it, you can't rent it anywhere. The only way you can watch is if you have cable, apparently, or if you own the DVD, which is going to cost you at least $27 on Amazon. So I happen to have the DVD. And
really opening
just
this
message
up,
Tim
really
and give him your
opening this
address.
up for all our listeners.
You know
He'll
what?
mail it to you.
I was like,
you got 2 weeks.
You got 2 weeks. You can figure it out. You can save up $1 a day, and you'll get half the price of the DVD. All right.
That you can send to Tim.
Okay. Anyway, and the Blu-ray is $40. All right. But yeah, it's also a fun movie. It'll be a fun conversation. It's fine.
It's going to be great.
All right.
It's going to be good. Just like every episode. We promise.
It's great.
Every
it's
episode
good.
is
guess what?
decent.
The show's on fire this
year. It's
a
podcast.
The show's on fire this year. Every episode's been good. Doesn't I feel very confident saying that. All right.
Now let's keep our other promise. The promise of Junior Jedi Knights Promises by Nancy Richardson when we come back.
Welcome back to Padawan Library. I'm Tim May, here as always with Levi Peretic.
Hello.
And our guest, our perpetual guest for this series, Mel Lyon.
Hello.
It's Kermit the Frog himself.
No, I was just trying to do what he did.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Because then I know it.
I guess you have a vaguely Kermit-y vibe.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, there's occasional.
We're totally like Kermit and Miss Piggy.
I mean, hey man, that's not a bad thing.
No.
The wedding scene with Kermit and Miss Piggy in Muppets Take Manhattan is like one of the great wedding scenes of all time. So
there you go. Just like our wedding was so great.
It was
fantastic. It was great.
Same level of entertainment as Muppets Take Manhattan.
Anyway.
Tim disagrees.
You're part of my actual life, so it'd be rude for me to state my opinion here. All right. Anyway, this week we're on to the third book of Junior Jedi Knights, Promises, which I believe is the last book written by Nancy Richardson.
It is.
And it does wrap up an arc, which I was kind of surprised by, actually, that it wraps up.
Yeah, right.
Rather abruptly.
And we'll get into it, but... go ahead.
I will say that this book is a something that we encounter I don't want to say too often on this show, but sometimes you get a book that, like, you get the premise, and the premise is great, and you are so excited for this book based on the premise of the book alone, and then it just doesn't quite deliver.
I definitely think this is better than the previous book.
I agree with that.
The premise, for those who don't know, is that Tahiri... Oh, jeez, I just burped.
Tim just threw up. Don't let him lie to you, listeners.
No. Come on. I didn't throw up. I really didn't.
This time.
Not this time.
All right, so, Tahiri, who is from Tatooine and was a human raised by Tusken Raiders, she has to return to Tatooine to make her decision about whether she's going to stay at the Jedi Temple on Yavin 4 or return to her tribe, essentially, is the basic premise. And we knew this going in. There's... I will say, I get where your disappointment comes to some degree, and we'll get into the details in a minute, but I did think the emotional aspects of the storytelling worked. The character stuff
Oh, yeah,
was
so good.
But there are a couple choices made right at the top
Yeah.
that I think could have opened up much richer storytelling paths that they didn't go down.
Well, let's start it there.
I feel like this concept is like maybe something that like Nancy Richardson like had thought of for something else. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the vibe I get of it. And then it's like it doesn't really make as much sense in this concept where this 9-year-old girl has to prove herself to this tribe because she's an adult now or whatever.
Age stuff's always going to be weird. My main issue is that, so the book starts with Anakin Solo having, like, a bad dream, you know, where the dark side's calling to him, the followers of Exar Kun and whatever. That all happens. But then he wakes up, Tahiri has to go back to Tatooine, and Luke sends Tahiri and Anakin together with Tion, his, like, second in command, I guess.
Yes, and old Peckham.
Peckham.
Old Peckham from the last book, the transporter. Here's the thing: they're going back to Tatooine. What?
Old Peckham, the transporter.
They literally call him Old Peckham. Yeah.
Made me think of the Jason Statham movie and like a crossover with Old Peckham and. Anyway,
I want to see what old Peckham looks like.
Oh, the transporter. I was like, what Jason Statham movie? Okay. All right.
Oh, hi, guys.
Yeah, are you talking about Safe? A movie everyone remembers? And I just picked a random Jason
I was
Statham.
thinking of, what is that, Parker? Isn't that a movie he made?
Yeah, directed by Taylor Hackford, director of Ray and An Officer and a Gentleman. That's all there. It all just popped in my head when you said Parker. All right, God, my life is filled with that bullshit. Okay, anyways, there was a what were we talking? Oh, yeah, my main issue here right at the top is that they go back to Tatooine and Luke sends his second in command when Luke's from Tatooine. He can relate directly to Tahiri here, and I just thought like that would be. I wonder if there was like an editorial thing like we want Luke to be very minimally involved in the adventures in these books, but like Luke going with them would have opened up a lot of interesting avenues.
Yeah, I think that would have been good.
100%, because Luke and
Anakin need some bonding moments.
They really do. The two of them need to bond. But Luke in each of these books has like the same resolve, where it's like the kids come back, they look like hell, and he's just like, "Oh, Leia's gonna kill me."
Yeah,
and like
that's like that end of his personality.
Yeah, Leia's gonna kill me, but these kids, they sure got a Force connection. They're gonna make strong Jedi Knights.
But yeah, no, like that's the thing. Luke. Also, in this timeline, Luke has already trained Jaina and Jason.
Yeah.
Who are also Leia's children.
Right.
So, like... I just... Whatever. Okay, anyway.
You think about, like, the third kid, he's like, fine. Like, you know, like, these kids will be fine. But he's, like, most concerned.
Classic, like, youngest child. Like, they can raise themselves.
And his name is Anakin, after all, so...
But that's the problem right there, is just, like, his name's Anakin. Should we be worried?
It's like, then why'd you name him that if you're...
right? Like, it was just going to cause nothing but problems.
I had, like, listen, I don't have any problem with naming him Anakin. Like, again, I don't know.
Because they say it's because, he did turn at the end.
Of course,
so.
and he's a... Like, I'm fine I'm fine with it.
It's fine.
At a certain point, like, the parents and Luke should not be worried about it. Because they clearly thought, like, oh, well, this is fine. We'll teach him.
That's their decision. They need to stick by it.
Yeah, like, then, stop being babies about it. Babies. I've started calling people babies a lot as an insult. I feel like, that's a good, like, solid down the middle
Yeah.
insult.
Who's gonna get offended? The babies?
Yeah.
They can't speak for themselves. That sounded more sinister.
Babies.
Sounded more sinister than I intended.
The Boss Baby can speak for the baby.
Oh, that's true. Isn't Boss Baby 2 coming out soon?
Yes, I'm so excited. Because, like, the
you are
premise
such
is...
a freak.
The premise is so silly. Basically, like, the two brothers who are, like, now adults, like, they have to, like, come...
They become babies,
Yeah,
right?
they become babies. They're transformed both back into babies, and they have to, like, raise the one's, like, daughter who's a baby, like, because she's also a boss baby, like, so...
of course, yeah, Lady Boss. Hashtag Lady Boss. Okay. Good lord. And then, what were we talking about?
Oh, yeah, the plot.
Luke.
Oh, yeah.
Leia's gonna kill me. Wait, Leia, don't kill me.
Alright. So, they get to Tatooine. We don't need to go deep on any Yavin 4 events, I don't think.
Well, on Tatooine, we meet some Tusken Raiders who are named...
Slivin,
Slivin,
who is the leader,
Yes.
slash Tahiri's papa.
Yeah, the one
Kind
who
of
took
papa.
her in after... Well, we'll find out, because she has not been told what happened to her parents. This is
Her history.
Yeah, I need to be told my history. I need to be told my history. Can you please tell me my history? Oh my god. What a weird phrase.
Sounds like another character who grew up on a desert planet.
Why are you like this? Bringing this up constantly.
It's like the parallels draw themselves.
Right.
Like... It's not our fault there was, like, zero actual creativity on the sequel trilogy.
I'm aware. I just don't want to talk about the movies.
I'm just
saying.
saying.
It's not me defending them. I just don't want to talk about them.
Did you watch that video I sent you of the cast reacting?
Yes. I've seen all the clips. I know Oscar is, like, dunking on the movie through the whole press tour. I'm aware.
Well, there's this one part where it's like it's a group cast. Anthony Daniels makes the funniest face, but Kerry Russell's there, and like they don't show J.J. Abrams' reaction, but J.J. sitting there, and it's obvious that Kerry Russell like turns to J.J. and she like puts her fingers up by her eyes and draws tears, like looking straight at J.J. It's very silly.
I mean, they've known each other forever. So.
Right, and she's just like, I'll tell you your movie sucked.
I mean, yeah, I hope that they have that kind of relationship. I don't know. What am I supposed to say about this? All right. We got to get back to the book. Anyway, so there's, Slivin, he's the leader of the Tusken Raiders, and he is never told Tahiri what happened to her parents. And
he gave her a necklace, though, with her thumbprints.
Yeah, their thumbprints on the necklace. And so... It comes to light that who's this Tusken Raider woman who wants to take over the tribe?
She is Vexa.
And she hates Slivin, clearly gunning for that spot, that number one spot.
Well, because the Tusken Raiders are survivalists. They can't stand any weakness.
Yeah, but if their leader goes missing, they have to search for the leader until they are 100% sure the leader is dead before they accept a new leader. This is what happened to Slivin at some point in his life. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, so they made it... when he took Tahiri in, they didn't want him to take her in because she's an outsider, and
a 3-year-old child.
Yeah, and she had been orphaned in some way. But they basically said when she comes of age, which is apparently
9 years old,
she, hey, it's different for different cultures and races,
planets,
totally different situation. Who knows? Maybe years on Tatooine are actually 3 years for us.
And the Tusken Raiders are a nomad culture, so they mentioned that a lot.
And they're hunter-gatherers. I could believe that you start, real work at a younger age, I would assume. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so...
The promise. We should get in...
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They make the... They're getting... so when she comes of age, he had to promise that she would be able to pass some sort of elaborate... survivalist challenge or he would have to give up his leadership. Sliven would,
and be executed.
But if she passed this challenge, then she would be accepted as part of the tribe. And so they reveal this all to Tahiri. She's pretty pissed about it, reasonably. She didn't know about this, and she's takes it out on Sliven, saying like, "Oh, you shouldn't have made that promise." And he's just like, "They would have left you in the middle of fucking Mos Eisley." Like a 3-year-old child in the middle of Mos Eisley. If I didn't make this promise, I figured I'd deal with it in 6 years. I'm sorry. And like that's actually seemed relatively reasonable to me. But the
yeah, 100%.
When you think about the circumstance, I'm like, yeah,
he's just buying himself some time, you know.
Although he also could have told her a little more, I guess. But they also part of the deal was that he could not tell her history. And by the way, the reason I'm saying the dumb phrase, "tell me my history," is because it's the only way that her past is ever referred to.
Her history, right.
My history. Yeah. It's like weird.
Right.
Anyway, we got off on a tangent earlier about the sequels, but like that's such a weird... Like imagine if Rey was going around talking about, "I need to know my history. What's my history?"
Yeah.
That would make it even more weird. You'd be like, what are we talking about? All right, so...
I want to know my parents.
My history.
Okay, you don't need to make fun of
my
Daisy.
History.
She's good. Anyway, where was it talking? Oh, and then there was somebody pick up here.
Okay. So they are driven out to the desert. They agree that Anakin can come with her. Tyone has to stay with the Tusken Raiders. She has 1 week to get back to the tribe. So they leave them out in the desert. They immediately face beasties. Their first beastie is a Sarlacc. Well, what seems to be a Sarlacc.
They don't call it that.
They don't call it that. Yeah.
Sarlacc.
Then it's a crate dragon, which. And there's a bunch of beastie stuff. They survive.
Well, and then there's the Jawas too.
Oh, the Jawas. That
kind
seems
of a
kind
cool
of fun.
moment.
The Jawa stuff is good because like it's actually like part of like they'd be dead otherwise if they don't encounter the Jawas. And it reveals that Anakin, he's like, there's sand crawlers broken down. Maybe I can fix it, and he gets them to trust him, and he fixes it like another Anakin because tinkering is in the Skywalker blood.
He's like the Spider-Man villain, the Tinkerer. He's an old crone from the first issue of Amazing Spider-Man, 1963, and he creates a satellite that brings aliens, and Spider-Man has to fight aliens. A weird Spider-Man story. And now he's like a fat tech bro in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I hate everything. He's like literally an 80-year-old like crone in the first. Like I love it. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Moving on. Anyway, so Anakin, he gets slashed by a crate dragon. His ribs are ripped open. He has a festering wound. However, they make it back to the tribe with the help of...
because she calls for Bangor.
Her pet Bantha.
Yeah, which we haven't talked about at all. She has a pet Bantha.
Which is cute.
Cool.
Yeah, so cute.
Mm-hmm.
And she, because it's another one of their dire moments. And, yeah.
We didn't talk about her actual history. Because like, if she agrees to the challenge of going out to the
audience her history.
She needs to know. The audience needs to know her history. Anyway, so by agreeing to the challenge, she was given she would be allowed to hear her history. So of course she accepts because she needs her history. And we find out that Sliven got injured on like a crate dragon hunt or something like that, and her parents, moisture farmers, whose names are, I have it written down here, they are Casa and Trist Vila, and they take in Sliven. They care for him for 2 months. He learns to speak Basic during the time, but while he's there, Tahiri, 3-year-old Tahiri's always like jumping on him, trying to pull his robes off, that kind of thing, and to help Tristan out, the father, Trist, Sorry, not Tristan. He teaches...
Disrespectful to Tristan.
He
Honestly,
pretty
they call him
close.
Tristan, come on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But
Although Tristan and Casa are pretty, like,
they're
white
just,
parent names.
I mean, Trist
But
with a Y
They
is
definitely
just a
shop
word.
at Target solely.
I wouldn't say Trist is even her name. It's literally spelled like Trist, like having a tryst with somebody. Like
No, it's not. Isn't it with a Y?
Yeah, that's what Trist
Yeah.
is. That's how you spell
Is
that
it
word.
with a Y?
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm illiterate, so.
No, you're not.
that's me.
Yeah, have you met your husband? Jeez.
But
this
anyway...
book was so long, 140 pages.
Anyway, Sylvan teaches her father how to fight with a gaffy stick, which they famously don't call it it has a weird spelling in this book.
Gadurfy stick.
Yeah, Gadurfy stick. I'm trying to actually find it here. But basically, because the tribe cannot assume a new leader without knowing their other one is dead, his tribe sees Sliven, and he sees him practice fighting with Trist with the gaffy sticks. They think Trist is attacking him, and they kill Trist, and they kill Tahiri's mother as well. So it's this accident a misunderstanding that causes her parents to die. And this, of course, breaks Sliven's heart, and then he then takes their thumbprints and takes Tahiri and makes the promise.
Yes.
And that is Tahiri's history.
Then she goes on the big trial. She comes out on the other end. By the way, Trist, the word I checked, is spelled with a Y.
Wow, why would they make that a character's name then?
Because him and his wife like to fuck. I don't know.
I guess.
So yeah, I don't know. It's
Tatooine swingers.
I know. Obviously, Owen and Maru have a secret.
Yeah.
All right.
Promises. That whole situation.
Yeah. Oh my god. There we go.
All right. What was the other thing? Oh, yeah. And then they get back to the camp, and what's her face? What's her name again?
Vexa.
Vexa is in the middle of being like, listen, she's clearly dead. You're fucking done, my guy. And he's just like, we got 2 hours left till sundown. Nice try. Sun's down, I should say. We got 2 hours till sun's down. And then Tahiri comes in and is just like, nice try, Vexa. Like, I'm back before sun's down. And you're going to have to keep my dad. He's going to still have to be the leader of this tribe. All the Tusken Raiders come from Vexa back over to what's-his-face. And Sliven. And great emotional moment. She's just like, I need to tell Sliven that I'm going to go back to the Jedi Temple, though. And he's just like, listen, I understand. It is what it is. It's what it is, to quote the Irishman. And I love that he says, it's what it is, because it is, but it's what it is. Incredible. The Irishman. Go watch it. Anyway,
so simple, yet so powerful.
Anyway, I don't know.
Is that associated with the one line from that movie that sticks out for me is whenever he's just De Niro says never is a good something about it. There's never a good time to leave your wife, but that's when I left my wife.
That's a great line.
Do you remember that line?
It's what it is. Was it's when Hoff when they're when they're talking about Hoffa, how they have to kill Hoffa, and Joe Pesci says it's what it is. And that's the signal that they're putting the hit out on him. It's just chilling. Okay.
What can you do?
Yeah. Well, my favorite thing in The Sopranos, by the way, in the late period of The Sopranos, is anytime they go to a funeral and Tony's just fuck you gonna do. He's just at the at the luncheon
so
afterwards,
often.
and he's just fuck you gonna do. It's just oh man. Okay. Anyway, all right. So at this point, they're like, Anakin and Tahiri are like, we're ready to face the challenge of the Golden Globe because we made it through this Tatooine challenge together. Yeah. And that's kind of what the book ultimately becomes about, which I thought was... I agree was this...
It was a little tacked on the end there.
It's not so much...
I feel like that could have been its own book.
Yeah, I
Or
agree.
the beginning of the next one.
Well, yeah, we can... and we'll get to the details of that. I actually think the problem is that it makes her journey be more about serving the broader plot.
Yeah.
Rather than, kind of establishing, the core, kind of emotional stakes of her character.
I guess it's... a younger audience, did they really, go into, character building as much? I don't know.
Miss Watson does. So.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, yeah.
But, that is also exceptional stuff.
Yeah, is this, at the same level as, Jedi Apprentice?
No.
Or no? Yeah.
No, but this is definitely
up
there, in my opinion.
But she did stuff for, younger kids, too, or no?
Oh, you mean, reading level? Yeah, this is the same reading level.
Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah, those books are way better than these.
Yeah. I put these up there, though.
Oh, they're not bad.
They're not
these.
bad,
Yeah.
but they are definitely more, plot focused versus, your emotional development.
The thing that's interesting, though, is that they go back to Yavin 4, and we get this kind of... I don't know how long it was, but 30 pages, maybe, at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to obviously heal because they're all fucked up, and...
Anakin sleeps for 2 days.
Yeah.
But then they decide, you know what, it's time, let's go to the temple, whatever that temple was.
The Temple of the Woolamander.
Thank you, Mel. The Woolamander.
That's right, I contribute to this podcast.
You do. And there's, what is it? Yeah, the Woolamander Temple... return and free the children's souls from the Golden Globe.
Yes.
And Ikrit, the little Pokemon character.
Jedi.
Yes.
Pokemon Jedi, or as I like to say, Ryuoki Jedi, the real ones know. And then there's, sorry. And then there's, he's just like, are you really ready for this? And they're like, we made it through that Tatooine gauntlet together. We can do anything, basically. So... they head out there and very, very easily free the children's souls.
Yeah.
Anakin walks into the globe, and then he grabs the children's hands, and they walk out of the globe.
And that's it.
That's it. And then they're in a room full of the children's souls.
The globe shatters.
The globe shatters, and they're in a room with all the children's souls, and then they say thank you, and then they disappear.
And then they leave the temple, and who's there? Luke Skywalker and Master Ikrit. And, they're like, oh, you knew about this the whole time, Master Luke? And he's like, not the whole time. You know about everything?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And that's how the book ends.
Yep, that's it.
So we actually don't know if Luke knew about it the whole time, in which case, weird test to put these kids through.
Yeah.
Right?
But if he didn't know about it the whole time, we were robbed of a scene of it being revealed to him. Again, Luke is just a cipher in these books. There's no...
Yeah, he's just kind of there.
Which is a kind of a bummer, because I feel like...
Yeah, there's a lot you could do.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of potential.
His nephew, and his nephew is named after his father, and there's a lot of interesting stuff there. I'm sure there's probably more of Luke, I would guess, in Young Jedi Knights, which is for an older audience. But, yeah, this is, I will say, this whole climax, because the 3 books have been building towards this, felt like, okay, I actually don't mind that it's not going to extend further, because I wasn't that interested in this mystery, really, but, but it was, I do, it was definitely very sloppily handled at the end, I would say, and it kind of undercut what I thought were the strengths of the book, which was the Tatooine stuff. Because it made Tatooine stuff really feel like just a conduit to get to the ending of this. But, it's, this is still pretty good. Definitely better than Lyric's World. I'd put it probably on par with the first book, The Golden Globe, and I'd say I'd give it an 8 out of 10 midichlorians.
Wow.
So there you go.
Wow.
I'm going to give it 7 midichlorians. I think it's a step above Lyric's World. I think it's a step below the first book.
Fair enough.
But whatever, apples and oranges.
Mm.
Beasties again, lots of beasties in this book.
Yeah, the beasties were
the
fine.
There's just one,
Yeah.
yeah.
But if
And
you,
I know
if you-
I wrote a whole song about how I don't like beasties, and I almost wrote a parody of My Happy Ending by Avril Lavigne to talk
Oh,
talk more
wow.
about beasties, but I was like, I can't spend 2 hours of my life
Yeah.
on this, but I was like, the fact because that song was on VH1. That was the song I was trying to remember last week. That was on. 'Cause I was like everything because she goes everything that I wanted. That song. But that song's called My Happy Ending. I figured it out, everybody. I know everybody was waiting a whole week. Like, is Tim ever going to remember what that song is? And I was like, I did. All right, but yeah, I don't know. I thought these were fun.
Yeah, this book's fine. It would have been better without the tacked on ending because it would have felt like
It just needed more time.
It would have felt more like it was Tahiri's story.
Yeah.
Who's a character who, like, I mean, she shines in this book, you know, as a compelling character in this book, but, you know, Anakin still likes to steal the spotlight, I guess.
You know, I mean, he's not in it. I didn't feel his. I know he's in it all through, but I did not feel his presence.
This is the first book he's not checking out the ladies,
Right?
Because he was always checking out the ladies in the last book. He was always talking about those red curls, those red curls. So,
those red ringlets.
What do you give it?
I will give it a 7 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is. It's good. It is. It's what it is.
Oh, it's what it is.
Yeah.
It's what it is.
So you're putting the hit out on Tahiri. I was going to say Nancy Richardson, but that sounds... she's a real person.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know if she can survive 7 days in the desert.
Does Tahiri have any history beyond these books?
My brother is familiar with the character, so I assume, yes, he's not read these books.
Okay.
So I believe
right.
she continues into later, like, more adult expanded universe stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
I'm happy we're doing these. We're taking a break from them for the next month.
We're going back to Adventures in Wild Space.
We're going to finish that up, and then we're going to come back and finish these up. And yeah, so this is going to be... so this will be a fun little thing. But next week, though, is spring break. You're going to be out of town. And we decided let's take the opportunity to take a week off. So
right.
You guys deserve it.
Yeah.
You deserve
you know,
it.
we work so
working
hard.
so
Mel.
hard.
We read an
book
entire
reports every week.
We read an entire 120-page book every week, Mel.
Yeah.
Every week.
And then we talk for an hour to 2 hours about it.
Yeah.
And then I spend about a half hour editing the podcast. That's a lot of work. All right.
Do you know how many pages that is a year, Tim? That's 6,240 pages a year, roughly, approximately.
And it's not like that's the only reading I'm doing. I'm doing other reading for fun. I'm doing reading for school. I'm reading all the time. It's like I'm using my skill of reading constantly. Anyway, okay.
Tim's glasses just popped off of his face.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, next week we're off.
So
I talked about how maybe I'm going to do a weird solo pod, and I might.
Yes.
If I do that, it will not be on YouTube. Just heads up.
Okay.
To the YouTube listeners, if you want to hear me do a weird solo pod, if it happens at all, it will be on the podcast feed only. That's where you should be listening to it anyway. I think all YouTube listeners
gotta get those numbers
listen
up.
to the podcast. We haven't said this in a while. Rate and review the podcast. 5 stars exclusively. If you give it less than 5 stars, even if it's 4, and you're like, 4's a positive score. No, you're a fucking hater if you do that. You're just you're just bringing down the rating. It's trash. And listen, we don't care. The show's ending this year, so it doesn't matter if we grow the audience substantially. We've never made a dime on this podcast. We've lost so much money on this show. If you actually add it up.
Thousands of dollars.
Not quite thousands.
Hundreds.
Definitely hundreds. I shouldn't say lost. We've invested hundreds of dollars
invested
into this
with
podcast.
no return.
So we don't expect to get sponsors ever. we're beyond that point in the history of our show where we think that's ever happened.
Wait, but that was
It'd be so funny if we tried to seek out sponsors 87 episodes in.
Yeah, and we're like, we're ending in 6 months, but you want to invest in us? All right, but I will say though, I still want more people to discover the show and have fun with the show. So if you want to rate and review the podcast on iTunes, Apple Podcasts. iTunes doesn't exist anymore. Bleh, I'm an old man. So, enjoy. Enjoy on whatever platform you choose. I will keep uploading the main episodes always on YouTube. But if you listen on YouTube, you've already missed great bonus episodes we've done on the feed. So you should check out the feed. Check it out. There's lots of fun bonus content. And if there is a bonus episode next week, which is possible, but I still have no idea what it would be. I'm flirting with an interesting idea that I think you would enjoy, but
okay, because I will.
And we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it
totally. But again, I'm not promising anything. No promises. Unlike this week, there will be no promises next week. So if there's nothing in the feed, there's nothing in the feed, and you're gonna have to get over it, everybody. But I may do something. So we'll see. Let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap this up. And also, if you want to actually support us in our endeavor of hundreds of dollars a year, you can do so by purchasing our shirt on TeePublic. We make a few bucks off of that.
A few bucks.
Few.
AKA $2 a shirt. But you should
that they have to split.
Yeah, right. Yeah, $1.
So they each get $8.
But you guys, you should buy it. It's a good shirt.
The shirts are cool, and it's cute, and it's it's dorky. It's dorky in a genuinely dorky way. This is an authentic. If you want to if you are wearing your intellect on the front of your shirt, this is the shirt for you. You're not gonna find this at Hot Topic.
What?
You're not gonna find this on friggin' T Republic or whatever, unless that's.
Well, it's on T Public. It's literally.
Okay, so you are gonna find it on T Public, and that's.
I think though the thing about it is that it's a great podcast shirt that you have to listen to a podcast. And you're going to have to explain it to everybody you meet. I have shirts for Doughboys and Blank Check and all my favorite podcasts, and people are confused every time they see them, and they ask me, what is that? And I have to explain a whole bit from a podcast.
You have to explain what a podcast is what the podcast is about.
Definitely some people I have to do that too, but it's always fun. You love having that conversation every time you wear the shirt. Everybody's excited to do that. So, if you want to do that with our show, that literally, I won't say a number, but very few, much fewer than those shows I just mentioned listen to. Much fewer. And so you have a almost 0% chance of running into another listener.
We will reveal this to the listeners. You need roughly 30,000 listens a week to get sponsorship.
20,000. It's 20,000.
20,000? All right.
It's not even a week. It's a month. But guess what? We don't have that.
You guys aren't doing that? What?
And that's fine. Listen,
that's
I like our
hard
small
to
audience.
do.
I enjoy speaking to our small audience. And we've talked way too much about the stupid show. And
just the concept of podcasts and this one specifically.
And yeah, it's funny. Anyway, all right. Just everybody, if you want to buy the shirt, it's a nice shirt. That's all I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Let's wrap the show.
All right. Until the books are due back, like the shirt says.
The library is closed. Shirt doesn't say that. Padawan Library is hosted and produced by Tim May and Levi Peretic. It is edited by Tim May. Our theme song is by The Astral Project. Our artwork is by Freddie Funbuns. Padawan Library is copyright 2021. Tim May and Levi Peretic. All rights reserved.